Hello, folks. Well, this is the second adventure with the statutory declaration. The previous one was in relation to medical interference of any kind, which you can carry around with you and send wherever you want. Once notarized, certified copies made of that by the notary, and then the notary signs that the copy is an original copy. A copy of an original. Okay, and that's the one you send out from then. So you just copy that one, the certified copy. Now, last time we got apparently a couple of comments from the boys who sort of fancied a bit of Sarah Jane in the image. So, of course, we thought we'd trip down and give the same to the girlies, and we're now using Trevor William. Okay, don't know what you think of him up there. Anyway, that's for you to look at. So, if I sound a bit weird, I've just had the lurgy. So it were plenty of lemon tea with honey. Burn it all off the throat, off the chest, get rid of it, blah, blah, blah. What could have been a couple of weeks turned out to be 3 days. So there you go. Who needs the doctor when you've got yourself? So the way I see it, it was a mild flu for sure. It didn't go all the way. I weren't in bed dying. So it was not quite man flu, but it was like a bit of man flu. And I was very content at the shedding that were going on, detoxing my respiratory system, etc., in the snot, the toilet, etc. So it were all coming out, and whereas most people try to avoid that, of course I was quite happy. It means I've got rid of a load of shite. There are occasions when I get 2 of these before the Christmas, but generally I just get it the once, and the detox is done. If you've had a bad year and a lot of damaged cells have excreted a lot of stuff, and the solvent that gets and picks it up. So if you've had a lot of that in the year, your flu is going to be rather painful. But again, as long as you recognise that what's actually happening is that your body's getting rid of all that toxins it's gathered in the year, it's not something you want to be avoiding having. It's something you actually really do need, So if I sound a bit horsey, it's because I've had the flu and nobody to look after me. Oh. Anyway, on we go. Statutory declaration, you're a bit more savvy with it now, and again underneath it's dated the first day of month October 2021, or the correct month and date and year even if you are creating this for yourself. And the same again, you want a figure, image, black and white preferable, with the term figure 1 underneath it. Then, to whomsoever this may concern, I, Trevor Williams, but of course you're going to put your name there, just your Christian names. You're not putting your surname anywhere near that. Use the same format to the letter. Don't use capitals. If we don't use capitals, you don't want to be using capitals. It's important in the science of language. And you've got to remember, these people already know all this. It's a case of you showing them that you know it. Okay? That's the game with this stuff. It's a reprogramming of the subconscious, which I've said many times. Okay, I, Trevor William, who is created by the Heavenly Father, born male on the first day of April 1984, but of course you're going to put your own details in there. Yeah. Whose image and likeness is illustrated as figure 1, and who is associated at arm's length and distinct from the following person, and whose person's name may be styled and or symbolised as, and not limited to, Trevor William Baker, with correspondence address at, in the care of, then you put your street name, and then after that you put your house number in brackets, off the page, okay? You can't get joined it. Near Hesham, we're using a kit. Of course, you're going to put your own details in here. Near has to be in italic. It's off the page. Then your town, and then maybe your shire. But more importantly, it's your postcode in brackets at the end. Again, it's off the page. Yep. But for their data banks, you've satisfied, you've given the correct data. You've just formulated it in a manner that they know what to take as fact and what is. Okay. Hereinafter, the declarator. So you've declared yourself, who you are, what you are, and then you're stating for clarity If you have to refer to yourself again in this document, you will refer to yourself as the declarator. Now, this takes off this having to say me, I, we, blah. You don't. You just... basically, what these kind of things do is lessen the amount of words you have to use, okay? Which, of course, less is more. Simplicity is what we're always aiming for, okay? You know, the truth is simple. Getting there is the difficult part of life, and that is a fact. And I've held to that. All my old websites had those mantras on all over it, because that is the reality of it. But training your subconscious to that, that's the difficult bit. Now, hereinafter the declarator or the declarators, as the context requires, because we're going to shift that word and use that phrase, declarators. So if can, we're just putting that clear. If we use a distinction on declarator to declarators, we're still speaking of the declarator, okay? Brackets, as the context requires, okay? Hereby solemnly declares the following by serving notice to all that any action or activity initiated by the declarator and or by any member of his house, regardless of whether said action is conducted by a person, which concerns or requires making use of the highway, providing labour or service to another or others, and or congregating with another or others, for the purpose of assembling and or meeting, is hereby deemed and held as essential, and an imprescriptible and unalienable freedom, and said freedom may be expressed at any time without let or hindrance, and without another causing the infliction of a disadvantage and or prejudice unto the declarator, his person, and or any member of his house. And then declare your house. So that's the only time you're using the surname, except when you are letting them know that you have an arm's length of distinct relationship or interest in the way your name's written by the necromancers, okay? Because this is what they're doing when they get you on the birth certificate trust. They are raising you from the dead, but you're still dead. You know what I'm saying? They're only raising you to dead to bum you. That's it. Jimmy Savile is your prime symbolism for that. We can use the Savile as our new symbol for necromancy. Okay. I mean, he took it to extremes and bummed dead people. Sick, yes. However, that is what he did. And everybody loved him. Oh! Anyway, so where are we here? Okay. 2. By virtue of this statutory declaration, any implied assent and or consent that may indicate or suggest to another that the declarator and or any member of his house is an entity, an individual, a person, or a thing is hereby expressly nullified, expunged, and withdrawn, without limitation, regardless of whether said limitation is statutory or otherwise. Okay? 3. The provisions of this statutory declaration are hereby extended in perpetuity to every member of the declarator's house. Stay at your house. 4. The statutory declaration is perpetually valid and may be cited as the House Baker Declaration, and then the date, of course, filling in your own details. Okay? Same format at the bottom. House Baker Declaration, October 2021, page 1 of 2. Always keep this on the bottom and always number your pages. If a page is left blank, you put a note in the center, you have intentionally left this page blank, etc. Follow their formats, but not necessarily, not the wording, but follow the formats that they like. Now, the spacing is 1.5, if you didn't already notice that when you actually came to put this together for yourself. And again, these things are actually quite important. Now let me just see if there's any more info I wrote down there for you guys to know. No. Now, interpretations. We're interpreting individual, okay? Which means, again, whatever terms you're using on here that could be sort of taken with other meanings, You specifically hunt out those words in your paperwork and then define it. Meaning, in your communication here, in your use of those words, you've defined the meaning. There is no way there can be any grey areas. That's what you mean, okay? And then we've also, again, interpreted person. Yeah. And again, when you start to create these documents, you're building up templates. You're building up parts of words. So you'll have your interpretation for individual. You copy it. You know what I'm saying? You can make this easy, but first you've got to create this document yourself in your processor. Then you've got access to it as a file. You know what I'm saying? Because you can use them as templates and alter them and all sorts, and file them accordingly to whomever they've been used for and addressed to. So the same again at the bottom. I, Trevor William, do solemnly declare that I make this. Remember at the bottom, Trevor William. You're not the declarator is Trevor William. That's what you told them at the top. And so you have to have a continuum. So when you write these out, check, double check, leave it a day, double check, get Mrs. to check it, grandma, whomever wants to have a bash, but do not send it until you've made sure every single piece of grammar is correct, there's no spelling mistakes, and it's set out in the same format. Okay? So I, Trevor William, do solemnly and sincerely declare that I make this solemn declaration conscientiously believing the same to be true, and by virtue of the precision of an act made and passed in the year of the reign of His present Majesty, entitled an Act, Statutory Declarations Act 1835. And again, you would have your two names or name, thumbprint halfway across either the whatever's the second name or over the first if you've only got the one. And then before me, and that's where you get in your notary seal. So again, let me just go through this. You get that notarized. You then ask the notary to make 3 copies. She'll bring those back, or he will bring those back. There's the original. Put that aside. Ask then to sign. Just one of the copies is okay. If she'll do the 3, fine. That she's certifying that is a copy of an original document. Okay, so you've got the notary, and then you've got this extra, and it's only the certified copies that you send out, carry around with you, etc. Never use your original. That goes somewhere safe, like it's your deed for your property. Do you understand how serious it is that you keep these secure? Because, don't put it beyond them to, if it was, if you're successful by using this because you can keep it going, that they wouldn't try and come and take it from you. And then you've not got the original, you start again. Do you understand what I'm saying there? That's not a concept out of it, because they'd only have to force people, solicitors not to notary. And then it'd be a case of getting rid of these. And don't underestimate that that's potential for them to actually start to carry out. So that basically, again, sets out the second use of the instrument, the statutory declaration, which, as I've said before, stands as you in any court. Okay? Any court, anywhere. So there is the extension of its use. Okay? So before they start to decide who is essential and who is not, you basically let them know, hey, I'm a man. I own this shit, man. The highway is mine. It's king. He's okay, but he's below. That's it. It's mine. Yeah, you claim it. You say, look, I am essential because my Heavenly Father said I am. And I'm telling you. Okay? So there you go. The statutory declaration, you are essential. And with that, I will say, till the next time.